8:24, back on the Friday edition of BT. One of our favorite guests, Charles the Butler, back here on the show just in time for, dare I say it, back to school.
Can you believe it's here already?
As soon as the Fair at the Peony kicks in, then the back to school kicks in. But you're here to talk etiquette, as you always are. And this is really interesting about the importance of communication if parents are nervous about going back to school, and how to really set the standard with communicating with kids, teachers, and principals.
Totally agree. So I think one of the things that's really important is determining or trying to find out what is the communication style of the school. Do they want you to be able to call them? Do they want you to email them? Do they have, like, a private Facebook page for communication? So first of all, how do they want to communicate? And learning what that is, I think, is really important.
And, one of the common things, and this always blows my mind, the Facebook page that some classes, some teachers set up, because I didn't have that back in the day, but what is acceptable of what you say on there?
So, I think that's really great. So remember, whatever you say there, other people are seeing. So just like in regular social media, unless you're comfortable with everyone knowing what it is, you shouldn't say it. And so, that means that things that are private, things that are, about your child specifically, maybe your child's having trouble in math, maybe your child's, being bullied, or what, doesn't matter what the issue is, but think about the forum of how you communicate, and that public forum might not be the best way to do it.
And if there is an issue and you're going to take a private means of addressing it, say my child has an issue with the teacher, if you have to have that face-to-face when it comes to communication, what is an effective way to handle it?
So I think the first thing that's really important is, because there are children, we get emotional because we love them and we want to protect them. So I think the most important thing is, to go in with your talking points. What are the exact issues? Not the emotional things, but what are the actual points, so that you have specific concrete details to focus on. I think that makes the conversation a lot easier. And if you can try to keep the emotion out of it. Because, you might think your kid is the smartest kid, but that doesn't mean that, you can become emotional about it.
And that's going to be the big challenge,
absolutely,
managing emotions, because it does get so personal.
And that happens not only where they're going back to school, or just in day-to-day life when you're at the office, or when you're with your mother-in-law.
Sitting home with us now. What about these next few weeks, Charles, of you're big on routines and just planning ahead to avoid the stress. What happens in the next 3 weeks leading up to back to school?
So I think that's where the Butler hat comes on perfectly, is because for me it's about being organized. And so I don't want to do it, the night before, trying to run around to get the school supplies, or trying to find that pair of pants that fits my kid properly. So for me, if we have 2 or 3 weeks, let's get it done now. But you don't have to do everything, but make a list. For me, when you have a list, my blood pressure kind of goes down, and I calm down because I know what I need to do. And you can kind of organize it in your daily routine. But I think it's important, because I think if your kids see you getting organized and taking it seriously, they understand, okay, school is serious. It's not, something that's a pain for mom or dad, but that's something that we need to take seriously. And let's take the pressure off. So, imagine if, this week you got everything done so that you didn't have to do anything for the next 2 weeks. You could just enjoy the rest of the summer vacation with your kids.
I like that.
That's a great way to spend that the rest of the week.
Easy. Final one, when it comes to routines, what about the idea, especially the space when it comes to homework and routine? What do you suggest there?
That's great. So, as houses and apartments are getting smaller, we don't necessarily have a dedicated space for homework. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, I like the idea of kind of like having that caddy that has, like, pens and erasers and scissors and everything that you can kind of put on the kitchen table and kind of get in the routine. Kids come home, have their after-school snack, and then let's go right into homework so we can use the whole kitchen table until dinner is ready. But don't be pushing your kids aside saying, listen, I need to set the table, so move over. Let them understand that homework is important. Let's finish it. Let's make it a great space to do that, so it's conducive, and then go into dinner.
Can you come over to our place when our kid's born and go
I
through
can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to teach them, him or her, how to hold a knife and a fork.
It's going to be him, and Uncle Charles is going to be a big hit in our household. There's the book, Pocket Butler. Pick it up. Make life just a bit easier. And CharlesMcPherson.com is the website for all the resources. Great to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Welcome to the family, by the way.
I can't wait.